And to be a part of this, everything you need to know about how to give, how to support, how to contact us is right there on the screen in front of you. The number is 1-604-600-7940. The website is thebridgenetwork.ca. We look forward to hearing from you. We thank you so much for being part of what we're doing today. And remember, the Bridge Network City Church Canada is here just for you. God bless you. Welcome. This is the Bridge Network City Church Canada. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Our vision is outstanding life and service to God, transforming the world. We invite you to come for the word, and we know that you will stay for the kingdom. The Bridge Network City Church Canada is based in Vancouver at the moment, where we're starting out, and we believe so strongly in connecting to each other, to community, and of course to God. And to be a part of this, everything you need to know about how to give, how to support, how to contact us is right there on the screen in front of you. The number is 1-604-600-7940. The website is thebridgenetwork.ca. We look forward to hearing from you. We thank you so much for being part of what we're doing today. And remember, the Bridge Network City Church Canada is here just for you. God bless you. Welcome. This is the Bridge Network City Church Canada. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Our vision is outstanding life and service to God, transforming the world. We invite you to come for the word, and we know that you will stay for the kingdom. The Bridge Network City Church Canada is based in Vancouver at the moment, where we're starting out, and we believe so strongly in connecting to each other, to community, and of course to God. And to be a part of this, everything you need to know about how to give, how to support, how to contact us is right there on the screen in front of you. The number is 1-604-600-7940. The website is thebridgenetwork.ca. We look forward to hearing from you. We thank you so much for being part of what we're doing today. And remember, the Bridge Network City Church Canada is here just for you. God bless you. Welcome. This is the Bridge Network City Church Canada. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Our vision is outstanding life and service to God, transforming the world. We invite you to come for the word, and we know that you will stay for the kingdom. The Bridge Network City Church Canada is based in Vancouver at the moment, where we're starting out, and we believe so strongly in connecting to each other, to community, and of course to God. And to be a part of this, everything you need to know about how to give, how to support, how to contact us is right there on the screen in front of you. The number is 1-604-600-7940. The website is thebridgenetwork.ca. We look forward to hearing from you. We thank you so much for being part of what we're doing today. And remember, the Bridge Network City Church Canada is here just for you. God bless you. Welcome. This is the Bridge Network City Church Canada. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Our vision is outstanding life and service to God, transforming the world. We invite you to come for the word, and we know that you will stay for the kingdom. The Bridge Network City Church Canada is based in Vancouver at the moment, where we're starting out, and we believe so strongly in connecting to each other, to community, and of course to God. And to be a part of this, everything you need to know about how to give, how to support, how to contact us is right there on the screen in front of you. The number is 1-604-600-7940. The website is thebridgenetwork.ca. We look forward to hearing from you. We thank you so much for being part of what we're doing today. And remember, the Bridge Network City Church Canada is here just for you. God bless you.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Bridge Network City Church, Canada. I'm Genesis and I'll be your host for today. Today is the last Sunday in the month of May, and we've had a series of pastors, give us their insights on the topic Purppose Driven, finding your truth and embracing your ambidextrous calling. Today, we'll be having our resident pastor, Pastor Olumide Olalekan, giving us his, just rounding off the topic and giving us his thoughts, with the use of videos from the platform Nigeria to give us more insights on the role of work and embracing our ambidextrous calling. Stay blessed.
Amen. Hallelujah. Welcome to church this morning. I want to believe that we had a very pleasant week, and gradually, May 29 is just around the corner, and I'm sure that quite a number of us should be looking forward to it. Well, whether we do or not really doesn't matter. It comes, but I want to pray and trust that we will be prepared for the years ahead for this nation. This morning we'll be looking at this topic, extracting this topic again, Purppose Driven. Find your truth and find your truth and embrace your ambidextrous calling. Find your truth and embrace your ambidextrous calling. Quite a whole lot has been shared throughout the month, and really, while I was preparing for this, I was just looking for an avenue to just find a way to just simplify everything for us. But when pastor chooses a topic, you should be rest assured that when you start on the topic, it will be expounding. It will just be expounding. And don't also forget that when pastor opened the month, he also spoke about the fact that we should just get from the platform that took place on May 1, that's Workers' Day, so that there's so much, and I think that there's so much for us to really learn from the platform. This morning I'll actually be playing two videos from that. One is a full video, one is just a snippet. I think Ms. Ojelabi played part of it, but I'm extending it a bit because I'm sure obviously the media guys didn't get the information well, so they were not able to play what she wanted to play. But I also feel that it's very, very important and apt for us for the time and as we prepare ahead. But I also do trust this morning I'll be able to touch a bit on this aspect of the ambidextrous calling. I think except for Pastor Francis, I don't really think any other person really touched on that aspect. But just allow me and just get my perspective about it this morning. So let's just move. Let me just quickly make a redefinition of purpose, because that's the core. Purpose says that purpose, from the dictionary, says the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. It says the purpose of the meeting is to appoint a trustee. Listen, there is always anybody, believe you me, whether the person realizes or not, there is always a reason behind what every human being does. The reason can be good, the reason can be bad, the reason can be applaudable or otherwise, but there is always a reason for the things that we do. It says a person, another definition says a person's resolve or sense of resolve or determination. It says have as one's intention or objective. Lekon. Now, I think Pastor Kunle spoke to this a bit last week. One of the key things that purpose speaks to is why. It answers the question, why? Why? Why am I here? Can I ask you a question? Why are you in church this morning? Why are you early in church this morning? There must be a reason. There must be something that you want to accomplish for you being here as early as possible this morning. So the aspect of purpose answers that question, why? And you will see in a minute. I like it says that why, how, and what. It says that every organization on the planet knows what they do. These are products they sell or the services they offer. Some organizations know how they do it. These are the things that make them special or set them apart from their competition. But it says very few organizations, and please, you can also interchange the organization with you or an individual. It says very few organizations know why they do what they do. It says why is not about making money. That's a result. It's a purpose, cause, or belief. It's the very reason your organization exists. It's the very reason why you exist. This is where I really want to start from this morning. That work, a platform for finding and fulfilling purpose. I think, and I want to recommend it again. There was a message that Pastor Kule preached sometimes, I think this year. Pastor Kule, I think it's this year. That it says that whatsoever. That was the title of that message. Whatsoever. You know, I think that one of the challenges that we have right now, especially with this topic of purpose, is that everyone is running to find their purpose, forgetting that God has instituted work, which is a tool or a pathway for us to enter into our purposes. It says that the why of work helps you what? To establish your purpose, or helps you to discover your purpose, helps you to get into your purpose. But the why of work also helps you to identify what your philosophy about life is. But the why of work also ensures or helps you to know what priorities matters to you. Sorry, I'm trying to move fast because of the videos I'm playing, and the videos will explain a lot of these things. I'm playing this from this particular lady, Ndidi Ukaonu. I hope I pronounced it right. Just about 6 minutes of the video. And what she shared in that video is it says that work is a platform. Work is a platform to accomplish something. And can I quickly say this very quickly? I think I was having that discussion with Pastor during the week. I think that what was somewhat of the challenges we faced over the years, maybe over the last 10, 20 years, especially with the advent of motivational speaking and pushing people towards entrepreneurship, is that we demonized entrepreneurship. We demonized employee while glorifying employers or entrepreneurs. But we forget, most of us forget, that being an employee oftentimes gives you a pathway for you to even identify the things for which you are made to accomplish. I want you to just, I hope Lekon is ready. Where is he? He has disappeared. I want you to just sit back, just listen. Just listen to this lady or woman. Listen to what she shared. Are we ready? Just listen.
Is a platform. If you don't remember anything that I've said today, remember this. Work is a platform. Work is a platform. And you ask me, Ndidi, a platform for what? It's very easy for me to say a platform to self-actualize. But that's not putting it properly. Let's go into workshop mode for a minute. A platform to, there's a gap there, fill it in with your dream. And I typically say something and people laugh. If your real joy will come from Atilogu dancing, put it, work is a platform to actualize my Atilogu dancing. It doesn't matter how far-fetched, that thing that drives you, that thing that gives you joy, fill in the gap. Have you filled in your gap? Some people are afraid to fill in that gap. Fill it in. Okay? And then let's move. What is this work is a platform? Just work is a platform when you remember or consider that your life is one line, maybe straight bent, but it's one line. Beginning to the end being that your dream. And then the job is a certain point in time in that life. But you know, if your mentality is This is the place that I just go and collect my money at the end of the month, and I go out and I take my babe and I carry my wife and my children. They go and do jumping somewhere. It's very small-minded. Forgive me, but we are here to speak the truth. Do you know that work is the place where you first develop success habits? Discipline. Yvonne talked about reading. Very, very important. Punctuality. They don't come upon you by Holy Spirit on your bed. They just don't. Work is where we onboard skills, including our social skills, how we navigate society successfully. Work is where opportunities find us, and there are a plethora of stories where people in the course of their job came upon something and that completely transformed their life. Work is the early stages of your network. Your net worth has nothing to do with the money in your bank account. Am I correct? It is your network. I don't know anywhere that offers you that kind of network. Regulators you meet, colleagues you meet, customers you meet, all sorts of people come and meet you at work. And somebody is saying that work is, what's that thing? Where you go and collect salary. Work is where we find mentors and sponsors. And let me just stop here and say something quickly. Because in recent times, I've heard this thing quite a bit. Mentor, sponsor, the twin words. Yeah, your mentors, they provide guidance, people who have walked the path that you want to walk. And every time you need help, you run to them. Correct. Sponsors, your advocates, they are in the room. They open doors for you. They speak up for you. Correct. Did anybody ever pause to tell you that you choose your mentors, but your sponsors choose you? Let's take it a notch higher. It doesn't matter how many times you say the man is your sponsor. He is not your sponsor till he says so. Stop playing. This sponsor matter. Let's go up again. The man is selfish. Because your sponsor sees you as an extension of his own brand. Nobody is going to adopt you if you will diminish him. If you like, be singing it left, right, and center. Those are the people that open doors for you. Abi? But even more importantly is the fact that this person you call your sponsor, it presupposes that he was watching you. Those of you who are disengaged from work, he was watching you. And guess what? He may not even work in your organization. He may not work in your organization. He may be your regulator. He may be a customer. He can be anybody. And he has been watching you. There is an interview that happens before the interview. And you have been going through it, you didn't know. So the people who actually are able to anchor themselves in work are the ones who accrue these benefits. If you are disengaged, you can never accrue these benefits. It's just the simple truth. But let me say something quickly. There's something interesting about when you understand how work is a platform. Your energy just changes. I've been there, I'm telling you. Others, they spoke to me somehow. All those small things that touch your skin, because you realize that what you are in this for is much bigger than somebody talking to you anyhow. He was quoting scripture. Let me just quote small. Let it not be as if we are not inside church. Eh? So they suffered. They learned what? Obedience. By what? The things they suffered. There's one scripture I've been enjoying recently. God said he put, when the children of Israel reached promised land, he put some problem people for them so that the children who did not know war might know war. If the God that created you said you need to know war, you say no, it's soft life. Ain't going nowhere.
Don't worry, I'll still use the last part for the network service. You know, I like that aspect where she noticed very, very carefully. She didn't say job, she said work. And you know, there's something very interesting about scripture. Scripture says that he that does not have a job should not eat. It says he that does not work should not eat. But you know, let's expound it a bit, because I'm thinking that some people will be thinking that, well, that's if I get a job or a work to do. But do you know that as a student in school, that is work? How many people leave school and they are looking for referrals they can't get because they've disengaged themselves from school? Because hardly does anybody know that they passed even through the school. Let me just say, work is a platform. And for me, work is a platform that helps you to identify, discover, and even fulfill your purpose. Number two, she says, and I like this, says that life is a continuum, that life is a straight line. The line can either be crooked, and most times it is always crooked. But do you know what we feel, what we always assume as human beings? For example, people are not in church this morning because they think that church is outside of that line. Some people will get to a particular job. I think I was discussing with someone who is trying to get a new job, and I was saying that think about where you are going. Will this job play a crucial role in the future that you are looking at? Don't just look at it about, I said the money is important because you need to take care of yourself, but it must add to you, to where you are going to. Think about Joseph for a minute. Joseph already had a dream, but do you know that it was work that placed him? It was actually work that helped Joseph to redefine the dream from people bowing down to him as to his problem solver. And I think that is a major mistake. You know, there's something I've learned about businessmen that I've taken time to study. Do you know that a businessman does not think of any function he does as outside of his primary goal? You will see a businessman go to the golf course, he's playing golf and he's discussing business. But it is we Christians that we get to church and we say, church, you are not talking about any other thing in church. After all, Jesus Christ chased the business people out of church. Sorry, I still have another video to play. So the video is online. You can go and listen to it, and it's a very fantastic video. Work is what helps you to get sponsors and mentors, or mentors and sponsors. I don't want to dwell so much on that. In actual fact, in today's climate, another category has been added: coach. However you choose one, the other one chooses you. But whichever way you want to look at it, it is the work that you embark on that will help you to identify the right mentor you want to mentor you. It is also the work that you engage with that will help your sponsor to key into you. I already spoke about this. Now, as quickly as we just move ahead. So it's very important for us to understand that the place of work in all of these things, and that's why I said it is work, not job. As a chorister in the church, it is work. How do you see it? Do you see it as a platform to advance your purpose, or do you see it as just a side step? And as long as all other departments as well, Now, the second area I quickly want us to touch on is that area of the ambidextrous calling. And I think this is very, very crucial in the aspect of fulfilling purpose or of being purpose driven. Oh, sorry, it's off the screen a bit. Definition of ambidextrous. You know, pastors always explain to us that Sister AJ uses both her hands. Is the ability to use the right and the left hands equally well. In actual fact, some people can actually write with both hands. They'll be writing different things, and when they finish writing, you will now see the full statement. I like this about organization ambidexterity. It says that organization ambidexterity, and I have told us that you can replace organization with you, refers to an organization's ability to be efficient in its management of today's business and also adaptable for coping with tomorrow's changing demand. Can I tell you something? Everything that Pastor Kunle shared with us last week, you will find it difficult to accomplish if you don't understand that you have an ambidextrous calling or that you're ambidextrous. Look at it again. The ability to be efficient in managing today's business and also adaptable for coping with tomorrow's changing demand. Listen to me. How many of us are already thinking about the policy statement of the Tinubu administration? How many of us are even thinking, you know, we were sharing yesterday at the wedding ceremony that no administration has really impacted the ordinary people. And I said, no administration is likely going in today's Nigeria. Why? Because we don't have institutions that will drill down those policies to the grassroots. I want us to listen. This is about 22, 23 minutes video. You know, Pastor said, and I actually loved him because he spoke about the banking industry, which is where and let me tell you, the truth of the matter is that one of the organizations that you can work in that will be a blessing to you is the banking sector. It's one of the well-structured sector in this country. It's one of the well-structured organizations in this country. And let me tell you, they do a lot of things. I want you to just sit down. Listen to this, especially listen from that aspect of ambidexterity, and see how things that people felt that were out of vogue, how they utilized it to increase income, profits, or even expand their own organization. And let me tell you, one of the things, particularly what Pastor Kule shared with us last week, that is very, very predominant in this is technology. Are we ready?
Good afternoon, everyone. Normally, I'm in the studio, yeah? So this is a step up for me. I'm on the platform today. Thank you, Pastor Podju. Thank you, Pastor Tony, for this opportunity. And anytime people say I've raised money, you know, my wife is an entrepreneur. So she will always ask me, when are you raising money for me? Now, next slide, please. So I'm going to speak about entrepreneurship, but I'll focus on the myths, the fears, and the facts. Next slide. And because today is Workers' Day, let me first thank all the entrepreneurs in the room. I have a lot of respect for entrepreneurs. As an entrepreneur, I understand what it means to be an entrepreneur, because without entrepreneurs, there will be no entrepreneurs. So, to all the entrepreneurs, thank you very much. Now, this slide shows two doctors. One is a vet, and one is a human medical doctor. And I'd like to use it to describe entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. You see, the medical doctor is like an entrepreneur. When the patient comes, you have the advantage of asking him, what's wrong with you? Are you sick? He says yes. Do you have a fever? He says yes. Do you have this? He says yes. The entrepreneur is like a vet. Look at that dog. What are you going to ask it? The best you can ask the owner is, did he eat? Yes. How are you going to ask the dog? Is he digesting? You have to figure it out. Next slide. And for every business that is going to live long, let me use that word, the business has to reinvent itself. And I'll give you an example. In 2005, the banking consolidation was going on. And I was working for a bank called Broadbank. And we're going to get acquired by Union Bank. And so we went for the meeting where they were going to, discuss the share exchange. And after the meeting was over, I asked the guys on the Union Bank side, I said, are we not going to do due diligence on you? And so they told the Broadbank team to go. I was what you call today the CFO. And they told me to wait behind. I thought, these guys were going to discuss something serious. So they invited me into a room where they were all having a meeting, which they called Manco, about 18 people. Now, those days, our own boardroom just had chairs and seats. They had surround speakers, everything. And the CEO of the bank looked at me. He said, young man, you want to do due diligence on the stallion? Nobody does due diligence on the stallion. 4 years later, I was walking on that same road. Amcon was doing due diligence on the stallion. If you get it, you get it. So, every business must reinvent itself, every business. And so what do entrepreneurs do? They look for a need that has a large addressable market. The addressable market must be what? Large. And why I put the picture of that dog there is because every entrepreneur must be curious. You must be what? You must be curious. Now, look at Indomie. Indomie makes noodles, yeah? And they realize that people want different flavors. So they make chicken flavor, shrimp flavor. But guess what? Are you hearing that they are killing more chickens because of Indomie? It's flavor. They don't need to kill any chicken. So Indomie chicken is selling. If you are raising chickens, you are not selling. Because that's not the need. It's a different need. So if you hear that people are eating Indomie chicken flavor, it's not going to affect your business because it's just what? Flavors. Next slide. Now, I call this the DNA toolkit for entrepreneurship. And it applies to both companies and individuals. So, when you look at this slide, it says an entrepreneur. The business you are running, is it a sprint? If it's for now. Or is it a marathon, which is visionary? If it's for now, it's a hustle. And there's nothing wrong in a what? In a hustle. You just know it's a what? It's a hustle. The leadership team, did they hire you to think? Or did they hire you to think and execute? Some people will tell you, Oga, you're hired to what? Think. Just earn your salary. That's what you're hired to what? To do. The person is not building it to last. He's building it to rest. They are two different things, and I'll get there. Organizational purpose. If the only reason you set up a business for is money, and there's nothing wrong, but some people set it up for more than money. They set it up because they want to fulfill a purpose, but they must make money while fulfilling what? That purpose. So if it's money, there's nothing wrong. The remuneration structure, is it pay as you go, or is it risk and reward? If it's pay as you go, well, nothing wrong. We're all hustlers. You pay me, you what? You go. Risk and reward, I build something for you, you reward me, you put in place a structure that enables people to think, look, if we build something here, we get rewarded. That's why people give people stock options, people give people bonuses. In some organizations, if you say, Bo, the entrepreneur will look at you and say, where were you? When we're setting this person. Data maturity. Do you use any form of data? If you don't use any data in your business, in every meeting, everybody's a politician. Because it's now based on what? Perception. And in every argument, there are three parties. The two people arguing and history. That's why it's difficult to solve an argument, because you don't know the history. And that's why when you see two people speaking, somebody will say, he has been doing that thing since. That's history. Organizational culture, very important. Is it built to rest or built to what? That's what, when you get into some organizations, they'll say, my friend, don't try anything here. This is how we have been doing it. Just do your own and what? That is built to rest, not built to last. Then the performance culture. Is it paternal or is it what? Is it merit-based? Now, I put something there which I said, look, any conversation you have without data They are just discussions about perceptions and opinion. It's a good name for gossip. Once there's no data, is what? It's gossip. So, next slide. Now, you want to innovate within an organization. You see, every organization is still there because of some people. No matter how terrible the organization is, some people kept it there for you to come and meet it. They might have expired though. But it's because of them the organization is still what? Those are the gatekeepers. Then after the gatekeepers, you have what I call the old foxes. Those, you see, the gatekeepers ensure the organization is there. The old foxes ensure nothing changes. They are two different sets of people. And they are the innovator's dilemma. When you meet them, they are experts at waiting for you at the junction. They'll just be waiting for you. Now, and that's why I spoke about organizational culture. For the gatekeepers, is built to what? To rest. Next slide. And then I put this matrix up. There should be more besides, okay, to show the interconnection between the government, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Entrepreneurs. So the government will create the enabling environment. Once that sector is attractive, entrepreneurs will come in. The entrepreneurs come in, and I'll use telcos and banks. After the entrepreneurs have come in, they set up the businesses. Then they need the entrepreneurs. So I'll give you an example. The telecoms companies came in. What were they doing? Voice, text, that's all, yeah? Banks were giving deposit and loans. A text message was created so that people can communicate what? You don't have to spend too much money calling the person. Cheaper way of communicating. And then one other telco came in and said, we can do per second billing. And it disrupted the market. And because of that thing called a text message, listen very well, a text message, the banks looked at it and said, we can build apps because people have phones. If there was no GSM, there will be no mobile app. So people innovated. They put the mobile app on the what? On the smartphone. And somebody thought, wow, it's not only people that have smartphones that should enjoy mobile banking. And they started USSD. This one, you didn't star something, something star. Yeah? And then people came with WhatsApp, social media, and we all thought text messages are what? Dead. Next slide. Okay, this is actually the concluding part of that. And because of that, you see, it is because some people innovated. That's why you have Urgent 2K. How will you have received the Urgent 2K? Urgent 2K is a derivative of an innovation. Where will the 2K reach you from? It won't reach you. It won't get to the destination. Now, next slide. See these figures? So at times I prepare my slides like this so that if it gets missing, you must find me. I'm the only one that can speak to the figures. See, in 2017, there's a telco, and everybody thought text messages are dead. They made 13 billion from text messages. And when Yvonne was saying you should read the annual accounts of companies, that is boring. It depends on what you are looking for. If you are looking for innovation, it's not boring. You will see opportunities in those financial accounts. And when you are speaking, people say you have market intelligence. Which intelligence? Intelligence that is available for all of us. You refuse to read. And the entire salaries of everybody in that telco was 23 billion. By 2022, none of you uses text messages again. They all use WhatsApp. That same company made 63 billion from text messages. And the total salary of everybody in that telco is 45 billion. You know why? Because some people innovated by using SMS to send alert. So the telcos just started making money from alert for doing no work. And look at how that money is now paying the salaries of everybody in the telco. They'll just sit down. It is sending alert all around. That's entrepreneurship. In 2017, many messages were sent in Nigeria, 370 million. In 2017, by 2022, roughly 5 billion. NIP messages, all this urgent alert, urgent. As it is going on, some people are just making what? Money. Now, by 2022, I was looking at the financials of another telco. They lend money for airtime. They've made about 84 billion. The whole 84 billion is not airtime lending, no. They used to disclose it before, the airtime lending, but I think they now realize that people might say, this is too much. So about 90% of it is airtime lending. Because people want to speak. And see, they are meeting a very critical need, and I'll tell you what the need is. If you meet somebody who needs to make a phone call, and somebody is in the hospital, he can't afford not to have credit. So they're meeting a very urgent need. That telco made 84 billion from lending airtime. See, the second figure there, the 111 billion, is the total interest income made on loans by one of the top 10 banks in Nigeria. Obviously not FCMB. Can I have water, please? Total interest income. So what that telco made from borrowing people money for airtime is 76% of what a top 10 bank from giving loans. Now, you know what? This one is risk-free. Is it this other one? Is it this other one? This 111 million? By fire, by force. CRO, credit department, everything. That's the power of innovation. Now, you see that figure there called 378 billion. See, everybody benefits from this ecosystem. You know that stamp duty law, it had always been there. It's when the government now found out that, you people are sending money anyhow. The government who came in. The government has collected 378 billion in the last 6 years. The only reason they can track it is because it's what? Electronic. Before it was electronic, how would they track it? So even the government has come to the party. But remember, without the government auctioning GSM licenses, all this will never what? Happen. Without entrepreneurs coming in, all this will not what? Happen. Then the entrepreneurs take over. Now, the figure there at the other end is 14.5 trillion. That is what the pension industry is worth. And sorry, go to the next slide. And that will take me to, you see, if you look at what I've written there, the government, now in the budget document that the Minister of Finance presented this year, they spoke about this electronic money transfer levy. Even the government is not interested. This thing you people are making, we need it. Fola Adiola is an entrepreneur, yeah? He went into government. When you're in government, you have to be an entrepreneur because you are not the government. And he set up that pension industry. And so when people say you can't innovate within government, it's not true. You can innovate anywhere. It depends on the mindset. But I was reading an article. He said when he was going in, he gave them a few conditions. And one was that he was not going to earn any salary throughout when he was there. And they were allowed him to choose his secretary or something, who ended up being Chinelo. Next slide. Now, I just want to show some standalone case studies. You see, people talk of Japada. See, they are different. Me, I've been Japaing internally. Jackpot from one institution to another. So I've jackpot internally. I'm an internal jackpotist. Some people are external jackpots. You jackpot out. So I've jackpot out and come back. Where I am now is my second missionary journey. I left there in 2008. I'm back now. So I've also jackpot that. So nothing is new under the sun. When I was leaving the organization, they were setting up a business called Credit Direct. They had just set it up. A lot of you might not even know it's a subsidiary of FCMB. The people on the street, they call it Sharp Sharp because it gives quick credit. That business, in the consumer lending market, by the time I came back, it has paid dividends of over 20 billion naira. Dividends. What? Dividends. Stanbic Pensions was started less than 20 years ago. They contribute 58% of the dividend that Stanbic pays. Let me tell you something. Stanbic's dividend annually is over 45 billion. Last year, Stanbic Pensions paid the parent company a dividend of 26 billion naira. One company. New businesses started. The founders are not the ones running it. Existing people. The last one, United Capital. I was working in UBA when it was spun off. Today, that business pays dividend. This year, 9 billion naira. Not earnings or what? Dividend. Dividend. Some of them are listed, some of them are not. Small case studies. Next slide. Now, you see, there are mental battles that entrepreneurs face. There's some things people don't discuss. You see, the society, it doesn't have a place for entrepreneurs. The society recognizes what? That's what the society is. It's a societal issue. So when you are going to school, your parents will tell you, do a professional course. You say, why? They say, so you can set up on your own. So, most people look at entrepreneurship as the end game. And I think one of the speakers spoke to it where he said, some people, I think it was Dr. Labran said, some people within, they are hustling as entrepreneurs, earning less than they were doing before. But they'll just be saying, but my brother, we're still hustling. Excuse me. Okay. Now, Yoruba people will say, when you say you're an entrepreneur, they'll say, you know what that means? Your mates are building houses, you are stealing the nails. What is wrong? Next slide. Sorry, to put this slide back. And then a lot of entrepreneurs will tell themselves, they'll say, after this, I'm just going to walk away. Because guess what? When the status is gone, the phones always stop what? Ringing. But remember, for all the time you were there, they paid you. It's a contract. They what? They paid you. And you've got a platform to innovate. And then the mental pressure, you know, I think it was when Ndidi was speaking. And people say, yeah, it's good to be an entrepreneur, you get a salary, but there's a mental pressure that comes with it. And so I always tell people, discuss with people who've walked that path before. And don't do only that. See, it's a selfish entrepreneur. All you do is work. That office has provided a platform for you to prosper. You have to look for another platform to give back. It can be CSR, it can be mentorship. You have to look for another platform. Next slide. You know, in this entrepreneurship journey, at times it will test your curiosity. I had a boss. We were doing cost cutting in his office. So he innovated and they cut cost. So they fired one guy. So the son of the person they fired and his son were in the same class. So the boy came to school, looked at him, he said, your father fired my father. When the man came back to the office, he saw me the next day, he said, Gboli. He said, I felt bad. I said, I thought you were a hard man. He said, I felt bad. But he was doing his job. I remember I was working in an organization and we thought that, look, guys, we're paying too much of transportation. And so we looked at the Uber option. And so we said, the people that are not in the front office, let's enroll them on corporate Uber. So we did it. The first month, the salary, the amount we spent was less than the salary of the drivers. It was about a quarter of the salary of the drivers. So we had to let the drivers go. Somebody now called me. Said, Gbolahan. I said, yes. He said, where are you? I said, I'm in the office. He said, they are carrying placard. Your name is in front of the placard. The people carry placard. They say, send that boy back to where he came from. So, at times, it will test your humanity. And then people start fearing for you. You are the one doing the work. People start fearing for you. But I'll end with this. And I'll say, you know, the job provides for you. And everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. Some people were born to be entrepreneurs. And I'll give you 3 advantages entrepreneurs have that they never realize. You're somewhere, you are innovating, they are paying you a salary. You see, during COVID, I am an entrepreneur. My wife is an entrepreneur. So she runs a school. There were no students. The next thing, I came to my living room, the thing I turned to a school. They were doing virtual classes. They had to survive. But I was getting paid. We switched to virtual mode. You have existing customers. With existing customers, you can do a lot with existing customers. A lot of startups, they spend their first 2 years buying customers. They raise capital to buy. So when you hear people telling you, we give you this free, we give you this free, it's investors' money they're using. They buy the customers. Number 3 is, they don't have unlimited capital. You will do it. If it doesn't work well, the organization will say, well, you tried. I mean, you can also lose your job. It's not in a try. But you tried. And 4thly is that you have access to existing talent. So when you need something, you call somebody and the person helps you out with it. But finally, in the new world we're going into, you cannot innovate alone. It has to be with partnerships. As you can see from the NIP experience, for that innovation to happen, you needed the telco, you needed the banks, you needed guys they call aggregators. You need, one person can't do it alone. The world is now so interconnected. So it's not the case of I'm a genius. Those days are gone. And what we're seeing today is a tip of the iceberg. Metered consumers, 11 million. Total consumers, 51 million. When those 51 million consumers are metered and they start paying electricity bill with NIP, you can imagine the money that some of these telcos will be making. You can imagine the money that other people in the ecosystem will be making. So I leave you with this. That job is a platform. Make the best of it. Thank you very much.
Are we blessed? Nobody is talking. Huh? Nico, is this my slide? All right. Let me just try to round up. He emphasized more on job, but it's still literally the same thing, because job gives you work to do to be able to earn. Let me just quickly speak to this. I like this. Don't forget what we're talking about. I know there's so many things, but I'm narrowing it to this. Sorry. Indomie innovated. Can I use this word? Pastor, am I permitted to use it? Indomie became ambidextrous. They provide, how many variants of Indomie do we have? Flavors of Indomie. But you know something very interesting from what spoke, that it doesn't have any impact on chicken sales. You know, sometimes I think this is where the problem is. Sometimes we want somebody to do something and it will have impact on us, and we are blaming the person for what the person has done that has not impacted us. It is not, that person is not running your race. You have to feed yourself. And that's the reason today everybody is blaming government. Listen, I'll touch that quickly. You know, the reason why I brought this up is actually for 2 reasons. Number 1 is in the aspect of purpose. Let me tell you, you need to understand your purpose, in the sense that, are you an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur? Number 2 is that whatever organization, system, society you want to join, do their purpose align with your purpose? Not just only because of money. Then number 2 aspect of it, which is the one in red, it says that conversation without data are discussion on perceptions and thoughts, which is actually a fancy name for what? Gossip. Whether you are an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, if you don't have data running your business or running your life, you are doing what? You are wasting your life away. I think Pastor Kule mentioned that last week when he was talking, that an organization has a balance sheet. Do you know that as an individual, whether you are working in an organization, working for yourself, you must have your own personal balance sheet. You talked about this. Listen, we're no longer living in a world of isolation. Excuse me. We're no longer living in a world of isolation. And you know the reason? That is the reason why you have to pray for government. Or you think that you can, that is the reason why, at least at your level, you have to pray for government so that whatever policy they come up with favors you, and apart from that, you are able to innovate, to be able to key into that policy. Listen, was it on Friday or Thursday, Dangote opened the largest refinery in the whole of the world, I think. Do you know that Dangote also owns the largest cement factory, I think, in the world as well? Think about it. If government had not made the right policy, do you think Dangote would have constructed whether a refinery or whatever? But come to think of it, do you know how many people are going to step into the power sector because of the new law that has been signed, that state governments can own, generate, distribute, no, there's one missing. Generate, transmit, and distribute electricity. Okay, this is what I want us to look at. All because of what? Technology. But do you know the aspect I like most? Is that last part where he talked about 84 billion. How many of you have borrowed airtime before? You've added to 84 billion. Listen, no paperwork, no know your customer, no accounting officer, nothing. They generated what? 84 billion. A bank with all the structure, with all the paperwork. But in actual fact, this 111 billion, I'm sure that not everything was recovered. Because there's what is called accrual, which most of these things are prepared on. Not all will have come back. 111 billion with all the infrastructure, with all the paperwork, with all the staff. And because of technology, MTN, because it says a telco, not all the telcos. I'm assuming, I'm not saying it is MTN. I'm assuming MTN is generating 84 billion from what? Doing credit. Can I ask you a question? Now, this is where I'm going. Don't look at, because everybody is looking at the money. That's what is fancying, you know. Think about it. How can a telecommunication company be doing loans? Are loans not meant for banks? But you also know that banks are also doing telecommunication services. How many of us now, it is from your bank account that you load your phone? That is what? Being ambidextrous. Let me leave this one. But let me just touch on this quickly, is that, listen, going forward, we have to be conversant with the policies of government. Whether you are in business, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are an individual just working on the street, you have to be conversant with policies of government. That's just what I'll say on that. I'll leave this. I think you have spoken to this. Do you know how many? Listen, anybody that sees our personal, the business that I run with my wife, you will find, I think Pastor was saying it someday, that you have too many things. Let me tell you, I learned it from the bank. Do you know that banks have only two products? What are the two products? Deposit and what? No, not loans. So deposit and withdrawals. Those are the two products. But under deposit, do you know how many products they have? Some products to attract lower cadre of people. Some products to attract corporate organizations. Some products to, that's why they have what? Fixed deposit. They have savings deposit. They have all sorts. The same thing with loans. The loans is even too many. I'll close. I'll begin to round up now. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 30. It says what? No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. He says, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. He says, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape that you may be able to bear it. Now you might be asking me, how does this relate to this topic that we are talking about? You will get it very soon. This is the Amplified Version. It says that no temptation, regardless of its source, has overtaken or enticed you that is not common to human experience. Listen, everybody's shouting Nigeria, everybody wants to jackpot and all of those stuff. But is the scenario not the same for every one of us? Is the scenario not the same for Dangote? Do you know the obstacles that Dangote faced before that refinery has reached this stage? Because people are saying that it's not yet functional. Well, that is not my concern. It has been, and I'm praying that it will be functional as soon as possible if it is not. Because some people just want to park their car in the negativity. That is their problem. The same scenario, everybody, the same economic policy, the same naira to dollar variation. What is causing them to make a difference? And I am not. He says that what? Common to human experience. It says, nor is any temptation unusual or beyond human resistance. It says, but God is faithful to his word. He is compassionate and trustworthy. And he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability to resist. You know what the problem is? It's because we do not identify that ability that we have. I was reading Dangote's story. You know, I love Dangote. Let me tell you, I love Dangote compared to Otedola. What's this other guy? Tony Elumelu. And I won't tell you the reasons because I'm on air. It says that, but along the temptation, he has in the past and is now and will always provide the way out as well, so that you will be able to endure it without yielding and will overcome temptation with joy. You know, T.D. Jakes said this, and Pastor has played this video for us some couple of years back. He says what? Do not let people put a period where God has put a comma. He says you need to discover what God has put inside of you and fulfill it to your level best. He says every individual owes to himself to birth what is inside of them. Pastor has used this example very, very well before, especially for those in the music industry. You can sing. Is that all? What if you lose your voice? Can't you write a song? Can't you open a music academy? Can't you establish a record label? Listen, the only reason why you can think that way is when you understand that you are ambidextrous. My name is also on the slide this time around. It says, God will be unjust to have given you only one talent while endowing others with more. However, even if he has given you only one talent, can I assure you there are multiple ways to deploy it. Thank you and God bless you.
Welcome back. That was a really insightful message from our pastor and the speakers at the platform Nigeria. You know, what really struck me, or what, made me ponder, or what I pondered on so much, or what I learned, was the fact that life is a continuum. You know, that power, it said life as a continuum. Our life is like a straight line, from point A to Z, and it is not usually straight. It is always crooked, bent due to the challenges and obstacles of life, which we all go through, we all face, we all pass through. We think our work, communications at church, our job at the office is disjointed from our purpose, which is really not true if we really think about it. Our work and our job at office, our, communications and network in church, they all come together to help us fulfill our purpose. They all work together to, just help us fulfill our purpose at the end of the day. Let's think about it, because most of us really think everything we are doing is separate from our purpose. We feel our purpose is tied to the church, which is not so. Our work helps us accumulate some skills, which we'll need to, fulfill purpose. Thank you so much for joining us for today's service. We hope you learned a thing or two. See you at the network service after the short break.
Welcome. This is the Bridge Network, City Church, Canada. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Our vision is outstanding life and service to God, transforming the world. we invite you to come for the word, and we know that you will stay for the kingdom. The Bridge Network City Church, Canada, is based in Vancouver at the moment, where we're starting out. And we believe so strongly in connecting to each other, to community, and of course to God. And to be a part of this, everything you need to know about how to give, how to support, how to contact us is right there on the screen in front of you. The number is 1-604-600-7940. The website is thebridgenetwork.ca. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for being part of what we're doing today. And remember, the Bridge Network City Church Canada is here just